Hey everybody, it's me Stacy here at Scrapbooking Made Simple, and it's time for our next Saturday with Stacy YouTube class number 355. And this class is happening during our 2020 warehouse sale. It should have been the Shop That Didn't Hop event, but with all that's happening in the world and the fact that my retail store is closed, this year we're just the warehouse sale. Now, if you saw my desk, and you saw what's in front of me, you would say, that is one lucky girl. And you'd be right. I have in front of me 4 different Sizzix Big Shot machines. I have almost the whole family here sitting in front of me. And why? Well, we have the warehouse sale going on right now. Right now the warehouse sale is going on, so you could be getting dies for as little as 25 cents. And I thought, what am I going to do? Am I just going to skip this week and not do a YouTube at all? Or I thought, no, this is a good time to do a YouTube do's and don'ts class on the Sizzix family of die cutting machines. I have them all. I do. So I thought, okay, well then that's what we'll do for this YouTube. But if I'm going to do that, then I need to be able to offer them at a smoking hot price. So called Mr. Big Shot and Sizzix Sarah and said, what can we do? And they have put together an amazing package for you guys. Really amazing. I am thrilled to be doing this YouTube. I know that the warehouse sale. So if you're watching this YouTube class and it's not July 24th through July 31st, or whenever it ends, somewhere in that 2020. So the warehouse sale starts July 24th and it ends July 31st. So if 2020, so if you're watching it after that, I'm so sorry, the sale is over and the bundles on these machines is gone. But that's okay. Don't worry. It's the information about these machines that you're going to want. I'm going to try and go over as much as I can and show you as much as I can on how to die cut, what to use, what not to use, what the different dies are. Do you have older dies? How do you use them? Do you want newer dies? How do you use them? What dies work best with which machines? The idea is to give you as much information as I possibly can. So if you are a new crafter and you've never die cut before, you're about to go psh. And if you've been crafting since dirt, I'm hoping that I give you a tip or a trick that maybe you didn't know before and you're like, okay, it was worth it for that. That's the goal. And you can refer back to this time and time again, and maybe you're not ready to buy a die cutting machine, but at least you'll be able to make an informed decision about what you want to buy when you're ready. Because really, die cutting machines, they're a tool. They're an investment. They're not $5 or $10 or $20 or even the Big Shot bundles that we have for you. They're not even $50. They're more than that. So you have to really think about the purchase that you're going to make and do your homework and know that you feel confident in buying that company's product. So we do have 4 bundles for you. I have a regular Big Shot bundle and a fold away bundle and a Big Shot Express bundle, and that's the machine that goes bzzz, and it's all electronic, and a Big Shot Plus bundle. These bundles are limited. And what does a bundle mean, Stacy? Well, it means that not only are you going to get the machine and the plates that go with the machine, but you're going to get a few little extras on top of that for a price that is rock star. Really it is, honestly. And because I am the way I am, I didn't want to put a bundle together that had some dies or an embossing folder and some random paper and no. Go to the warehouse sale, buy the embossing folders you love for $1.99, buy the dies you want. You don't want to get some Christmas die that you're never ever going to use. So our bundles are made up of Sizzix tools that I think that you should have, like a squishy and a knock-knock. What's a squishy and a knock-knock? Don't worry, we'll get there. There's storage in there, little envelopes to store your dies. There's a a rolly tool so that all the little pieces fall out. There's magnet storage sheets, which will be shipped separately at a later date. I don't know that they'll be here by the time we get ready to ship these, because it is part of the warehouse sale. So it is possible that they will be here in plenty of time, but if not, don't worry, they will ship separately and you'll still get your whole bundle with the exception of some little storage magnet sheets. But we'll take care of you there too. We've got a free gift for you if for some reason you have to wait for those little storage sheets. Everything else on the bundle will get to you, and then we'll get you the storage sheets just as soon as they land. Fingers crossed. I may be telling you all this and they may land just in time without any problem, but you need to know. So this is a do's and don'ts of the Sizzix Big Shot family. And sometimes it's more important to know what not to do with a tool like this than what to do. I want to show you how to make the most of your machine, what things work with what, so that when you get yours, you don't damage your machine, because it is that investment. If I can share with you the thing, oh, don't, and that means you won't when you get your machine and you don't damage it, wahoo kachoo. So I'm going to be showing all 4 machines. I'm really just going to be working with the one machine. My camera stabilizer is broken, and I tried to move my camera off my table and onto the floor, but then I can't reach to tilt down. I'm so not savvy in this social media world. I only have a Sony Handycam, and I just got a new $15 ring light. Woohoo. But other than that, there's no monitors or no fancy anything. It's just me, and it's you, and it's crafting at its core. And so you are going to want to take notes. There's no question about it. I'm going to do winner chicken dinner, and then I'm going to pause. So I'll do my pause face. So you can put me on pause and go grab a piece of paper and pencil, because you will want to take notes during this YouTube. I don't know if I'm forgetting anything else. Warehouse sales going on right now. I am hoping that there are still some of these bundles available. The Sizzix bundles for the machines went live yesterday on Friday. So I'm fingers crossed that the one you want is still available, because they are definitely limited. But the price is rock star. Okay, so let's talk winner chicken dinner, and then let's do my pause face, and then let's get right into it, shall we? It's very good to see you on the Saturday with Stacy YouTube class number 355. And next year will be the shop that didn't hop, and we will bring it to you bigger and better than before. But for now we find our lemonade and our rainbows and our unicorns, and be thankful for the things that we have in our life today. Right? Right. Okay, let's get started. Okay, winner chicken dinner. These folks have won a $25 gift card. It is in their account right now, which means if they spend it during the warehouse sale, they could take $25 and parlay it into $250. Really, if there was 25 items that retailed for $10 and they got them for $1, 25 different items for $1, but they were retailed at $10, they just took their $25 and parlayed it into $250. Now that is a wahoo kachoo. That is a holy smokes artichokes. That is a you have options. That is a make your heart happy, all rolled into one. Okay, let's see who our winners are. Oh, I know this name. Okay, our first winner is John Mullins. Hello, John. How are you doing? John has been with us. I've never met John, but he's been a customer with us. He's been following and a friend for years. I'm so happy for you, John. It feels like a local one because I know you. I mean, we don't know you. I don't know you, but I know you, right? We've talked, we've joked, we've laughed. I'm so happy for you. Go spend it wisely. Have fun. Our second winner is Kathleen. Kathleen Grogan. Hello, Kathleen. Is that you? Wahoo Kachoo for you. Same thing. Your money is in your account. Now, if you don't have an account with us, I can't put the money in. So I know John has one, but Kathleen, if for some reason you don't have an online account with Scrapbooking Made Simple, go do that now. And then email us and I will get your money into your account as quickly as possible. All right, so now we have to do our winner, winner, chicken dinner dance, right? You're a winner, chicken dinner. You're a winner, chicken dinner. Wahoo, Kachoo for you. I'm so happy for the both of you. Congratulations, you don't need to do anything else if you have an account. I'll put the money in, you spend it, and all is right with the world, right? It's like, oh. Okay, I'm gonna put those aside and we are gonna start for today. My stabilizer is broken on my camera. You probably are gonna hear some zzz. I will try to fix it as quickly as possible, but I did, like I said, I did try to move my camera down off the table and my tripod's tall enough, but my arms are not. So I can't tilt my camera down by having my tripod off my table. So we're just gonna give it a whirl, and a big thank you to Sizzix. I should also say that these opinions are mine. I am not a paid spokesperson for anybody. Everybody knows that. Every manufacturer knows that. They know that they can't pay me anything to do a YouTube for them. No free product, no special deals, no. I have to love what I'm doing. I choose what product I YouTube, nobody else. And so all of these opinions that I give, they are mine. And sometimes the manufacturers cringe. They cringe at what I say because I am completely unscripted and I will be blatantly honest about something like, oh my gosh, what were they thinking? The packaging on this is the worst packaging I've ever seen in my entire life, but wait till you open it up. You will love what's inside. And they're like, did you really have to say that? And I'm like, yeah, I really did. Sorry, it came out. So I know that Sizzix Ellison is probably watching this YouTube going, what's she gonna say? What's she gonna say? It's all good. Everything's truthful. So I will go through and just teach. The most important thing is to teach. And so for those of you who have never seen a die cutting machine before, I think you're gonna love this. And for those of you who have had a die cutting machine forever, I'm hoping there's some tips and tricks in here that maybe you had forgotten about or didn't know about. Now, pause face so you can get your paper and pencil and take notes. Are you ready? There it is. Why do I do a pause face? So I don't blink. Okay, I'm back. Because no doubt, when you pause me, I'm in the middle of a blink and you always look like you're like, ooh. So if I give you a nice pause face, you can pause me, I look cute. And then when you come back, we start again. All right, so I'm gonna tilt down. We're gonna get started for today. This is gonna definitely be some length into this, so bear with me. If there's a machine that you're not interested in, by all means fast forward, although I'm going to use the big shot, the standard big shot for the majority of the YouTube, but we are going to go through each machine and I'm going to talk to you about it. Okay, down we go. It's good to see you. Bye. All right, here we are. Okay, this is a standard big shot machine. It is made for dies that are 6 inches wide, no wider than 6 inches, and you can have almost any length you want as long as you have a platform that supports that die. It's portable, it's fairly light, it has a handle that is, you attach it once you receive it and it doesn't come off. It is made of, it has a solid steel roller underneath. The gears are metal. There's nothing plastic inside for you to break. It is a workhorse. There's no question about it. It allows you to do any kind of die that you want. In fact, all the machines I have for you today will allow you to do any style of die. Are you talking about a steel rule die? For those of you who don't know what that is, I'm going to show you. A wafer die, a Sizzlit, an embosslet. Those are from days gone by, but I'm going to show you those too. All of the machines in the Big Shot family are going to allow you to do all of that. And Their machines are considered open machines. What does that mean? That means that you're going to be able to incorporate other people's dies. Oh, let's say like mine. Shameless plug, but it's my own YouTube, so I'm allowed to. So my dies are going to go through here without any problem. Memory Box, Spellbinders, Couture Creations, Ultimate Crafts, Trim Crafts, Do Crafts. What dies do you own? As long as they fit within the width of 6 inches on a standard Big Shot machine, you are good to go. All of the Tim Holtz dies. Tim Holtz does the designing he's a licensed designer with Sizzix. They're under the alterations. He calls his dies alterations. They are manufactured by Sizzix and sold by Sizzix, designed by Tim Holtz. So if you like any of the Tim Holtz dies, they're all meant to go with any of the Sizzix Big Shot family, any of the machines in that family. What do you get with your Big Shot? And again, it's not heavy. It's not so bad. You get 2 cutting plates, 2 cutting pads, crystal clear. Are they going to stay this way? No. All the machines come with some form of cutting plates, whether they be a standard size. Well, I think they all come standard size. No, the Big Shot Plus has big ones. So they all have cutting plates. They all come crystal clear. Will they stay this way? No. You're going to have to accept that and go with it. They are meant to be cut in 2. They're going to eventually have little shapes all over them, and at some point you're not even going to be able to see through them. But does that mean you throw them away? No, not until they won't work anymore. And then you just buy new ones. They're considered a consumable item that are meant to be replaced. Like paper. Paper would be a consumable item. You use it and then you replace it. You will use these and then you will replace them. This Big Shot machine also comes with their new platforms. Their platforms used to be hinged, but they're not anymore. And the standard size platform is what comes with the newest machine. You have a shim and a platform. What's nice about the Sizzix products is that you only have so many options. This platform here, you can see how thick it is. See how thick it is? This platform here tells you what Sizzix products are going to work with it. It's also going to tell you if you've got an embossing folder, this is the platform you're going to use. They give you this information right on top, as they do with all of their machines. Then you have this little shim that fits on top. And this is meant to use with wafer dies. And it tells you that. Framelits, thinlits, what those really are wafer dies. Very similar to my Simply Defined dies. So these are the 2 things that you're going to have. Now, if this is option 1 and this is option 2, what's option 3? Because you only have so many options. Option 3 is using the clear plates just on their own. And I'm going to show you how to do that and with what dies you do that with. So, your Big Shot machine comes with the machine, comes with the platforms that you need to run everybody's dies and everybody's embossing folders through it, as long as it fits within that 6-inch, and it comes with 2 clear plates. If you treat these well, you should never have to replace these. There's no reason to replace them. You're never cutting into them. You're using these as your barrier. So your multi-purpose platforms or your platforms should never have to be replaced if you take care of them. And gosh, I've had mine for years and years and years and years and years. If you do have something that happens, the dog got a hold of it, can you buy this separately? Yes, you can get a hold of one of these separately if something happens and you need to replace it. And again, these are meant to be replaced and they come in many, many colors. So your standard Big Shot. Before I move on to the next machine, I want to tell you about the warranty on the Big Shots. So, they all have a little thingy that comes with it, tells you a little bit about it, but I think I'm going to tilt up really quick and just tell you about the warranty super fast. So, The warranty on the Big Shots, no matter what Big Shot you buy, is 1 year. You have 1 year of coverage if something were to happen to your Big Shot. But if you take about 10 minutes of your time and you go to Sizzix.com and you search warranty, there is a link that will allow you to extend your warranty from 1 year to 3 years. All you have to do is register your machine. You register your machine and all of a sudden you've bumped that warranty up to 3 years. Now that is true for the Big Shot machine, the fold-away machine, the Express machine, and the Plus machine. So no matter what Big Shot you have that you're going to purchase, take that 10 minutes of time and just register it to get that extra 2 years. Who wouldn't want that, right? So the warranty is, again, this company, Ellison's been in business for 44 years. They started in education. So if you've ever worked in an elementary school and you've been a PTA mom or a room mom, chances are you've worked with Ellison dies because they're the ones that are in the PTA room or the art room where you're making the banners and you're rolling them through. Ellison started in education and then evolved into crafters. They were the first ones to come out with a machine for us crafters. It was red, it was heavy, it was awkward, but it did what it was supposed to do, and it was the first one on the market, and it was like, now technology has come so far that we've got much better options. Well, we have at least 4 better options right now. So there's your warranty information. Now, you're going to give me just a second because no, I'll do the fold away next. Let me do the fold away and I will tilt on down again. Okay, down I go. So, fold away machine. This is one of the newer members of the family. It is, gosh, maybe a year and a half to the family of Big Shots. It has not been around forever, and it originally launched in the United Kingdom, which did not make my heart happy. I thought it should launch here, but okay, I've forgiven. That's in the past. Not bitter at all. This is a storage saver. You can take the little wings down and they lock into place. The handle has a little button on it and you can push it and then put it into, well, when it's shut, you put it into place. Let's close that wing up. So it will store, the handle stores very nicely, and then when you need it to go, it will lock itself so that you can roll it and then you can unlock it and store it right there. So it's very, very handy. It has the same warranty as the Big Shot, but it's much more slim. It's much more streamlined. I will say that I understand it's a very good machine and you do have to lock the little wings into place. My concern, and my only concern about this machine, is that they made these little storage areas under here, where in reality you really can't store much of anything in here. I mean, truly you can't. If it were my die cut machine, and it's not, so they didn't ask me, I would have just made these solid so they felt solid. You know, like when you slam a car door shut and it slams solid, you know that feeling? So these, it's a very good machine. That's my only thing, that I don't know that the storage was necessary, but that's okay, you have it now. It also is a 6-inch wide machine, and it comes with the same platforms that your standard Big Shot does. It comes with the base plate, it comes with the wafer shim, and the 2 cutting pads. So are you a person who needs that storage, who needs that slimline machine that gives you all the availability to do everybody's dies, but is just nice and tidy and thin? Unlock that little, and let's put it this way, and put it right there, nice and thin. Or do you have the room for a standard Big Shot? That's up to you. This was This was Ellison Sizzix way to respond to customers who were in limited space, who really have just literally a little placemat to do their crafting. This is a good option for you then. And again, it is a workhorse. It will go and go and go because everything in it is solid. It's not plastic. All the gears are not plastic. The roller that's in there is not plastic. And so, and again, you have your your clear plates and your shim and your base plate. All comes with it. And then if you get the bundle, you'll get the extra tools, the squishy and the knock and the storage envelopes, which really have a use, and the little brush and foam that help clean your dies out. So, Sizzix Fold Away, that's what this is called, a fold away. If you need the storage space, it's an amazing option for you. So let me put that one off to the side. And then let me bring over my next one, which is gonna be, it's a heft. Ready? Okay. This isn't even the daddy of them all. There is a machine bigger than this. There is the Pro. The Pro will do 12-inch dies. The Pro is heavy. It is not a machine, and it's big, it's massive. It's not a machine that you think, oh, I'll just move it around to this table today. No, this is the compromise between the Pro and the standard Big Shot machine. Remember, the standard Big Shot machine was 6 inches wide. Here, you've got a much wider machine. Let's take out. So here's the platform for the standard machine and the fold away. Okay, so this is the extra room you have on this machine. It's wonderful. It will do A4 dies without any problem. That means you've got at least 8 inches across. That's amazing. Is it heavier? Yes. Does it use the same tools? No. This and the fold away are going to use a few things that are different than the Big Shot machine. Does it come with the same type of platforms? Oh, I'm so worried about my my stabilizer. Yes, but look at the size of it. And you can see we've cut into it. So imagine yourself with all these little dies everywhere with all different papers underneath it. You could cut everything in one roll if you have this machine. It has the platform. It has 2 shims. One that does embossing folders, one that does your wafer dies, and then really one that has no purpose so much anymore. It really doesn't. I have a feeling when they come out with a new machine, they will update it and you will be back to just having 2 shims. But right now it does have 3. It has the base shim, or the base plate, which has it has product on it that they really don't carry anymore. It has the second shim, which allows you to do your Sizzlits and your embossing folders, which I will show you. And then it has your top shim, which allows you to do all of your wafer dies. So your framelits, your thinlits, your memory box, your simply defined, all of your wafer dies. And you could load this up with all your different dies and different paper underneath, and with one roll have everything done. This is a big boy. Are you going to want to be taking this to crops with you all the time? Probably not. But if you have the opportunity to get your hands on this machine, it's always nicer to have bigger, because if you need if you're doing something small, you can always do something small on a big machine. But if you want to do something bigger and you just have the smaller machine, well, then you can't. You know, that's the way it is. So if you are looking for a machine and it is in the price point that you can justify, then this is a great value for you. If you are just starting out and you're not sure, I would stick with the standard Big Shot machine, or the fold away based on whether you need sizing or not. So all of these machines that I've shown you so far are going to work exactly the same. Everything's going to roll through them. Everything. It's just going to be a matter of what type of shim do you use, or do you need a precision base plate? Do you not need a precision base plate? That's all going to be determined by what machine you use. I'm going to put this to the side for just right now, and then I'm going to bring over, oh, again, heavy. Not one that you are going to move around on a daily basis. This is the express machine. This is their electric machine. Now this machine is 6 inches wide, so it's the same width as the standard Big Shot that I started with. Same width as the standard Big Shot. It's 6 inches wide, which means about 90% of the dies out there on the market are going to fit the Big Shot, the Express, or the fold away. A good 90% of the dies out there on the market, one of these 3 machines, you're going to be fine. It just matters if you want the bigger machine because you want to do A4 size dies or anything along that line. I'm going to plug this in. And, ooh, ah. Oh, but wait, ooh. Ah. Okay. So this machine comes with an extended platform. It's much longer than the basic platform. Much longer. Why does it come with an extended platform? I have no idea. I really don't. But it does come with the extended platform, and it comes with standard plates. Again, why does it come with a long platform and short plates? Well, this was a conversation I had with Ellison a long time ago, and I said, oh, please give me a break. What are you doing? Come on now. If you're going to give them the long platform, give them the long plates too. It came down to wanting to keep something under a certain price point. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I understand that. I get that. But if they then have to go out and buy the long plates because they want to use a long die because they have the long platform, they're going to kind of feel a little angry. But I don't know that that's the case. Maybe not. I could be wrong. I just know that if this machine was $149 or $249, I don't even, let's say it was $199 and you got it this way. I really believe, in all honesty, y'all would have paid $209. You would have paid $10 more to get the longer plates because, again, the longer plates you can always use with a small die, but now you've got this platform. So you do have the long platform, which is nice, but you do not have the long cutting pads. It is also made up of your base plate, which is going to tell you how to do everything you need to do, and your shim, which is going to allow you to do your framelits, your thinlits, your simply defined, your memory box, your spellbinders dies, most wafer dies out there. No, it has a do not emboss on this plate, because if you send it in while they have made the technology amazing, this machine will go and it will say, oh no, too thick, you've made your sandwich too thick. Back it up. And it will allow you to back it up. But they want to give you that information right there on the plate. No embossing, because they don't want you to accidentally get it stuck. And if it were, they've got the reverse. These machines are made, the Big Shot, the Big Shot Plus, the Fold Away, the Express, they're made to not to go through if you've stuffed it too much. If you've made your sandwich, and I'm calling a sandwich all the plates that you put together, if you've made your sandwich too thin or too thick, it's gonna go, it's not gonna go through, it's gonna stop and say, no, 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 send me back. Or if it's too thin, it's gonna go through and do nothing and cut absolutely nothing. So This is their lovely, lovely electronic machine. So if you have any problems with your hands, rheumatoid, RA, arthritis, any problems with your hands, this is an ideal way to be able to die cut and do your craft without hurting, So, and the warranty on this, again, it's a 1-year warranty, but if you register it on Sizzix.com, you get another 2 years for a total of 3 years. And for electronics, we all know that that's a really great value. Electronics tend to have more of a chance to have something go wrong than a manual crank machine. So if you've got a 3-year warranty, well, by George, you can't go wrong with that. All right, I'm gonna move this out of my way. And now we're gonna talk about some different tools. I know, I haven't die cut anything. You're still with me? Good. All right, so tools. Like I said, base plate, shim, cutting pads. If you read these, they will tell you what you can and cannot do. They will tell you, oh yes, you can do an embossing folder. Oh yes, you can use a squishy and a knock. Oh yes, all the different things you can do. They make it very, very simple. But there are some additional tools that you may need. One of them being a precision base plate. Now, I have all 3 versions of the precision base plate here, and I'm going to explain to you what it does and what machines you can and cannot use it with, or what machines it should be used with, and what machines they would prefer you not to use it with. It's your machine. You can do whatever you want, but there are machines that it works well with and other machines that it may be too much. So, what is a precision base plate? Well, it's another type of a shim that it's another type of a clear plate, a cutting plate that you use when you are cutting intricate dies. My dies, I should have brought up some really good ones. My dies are very intricate. This is a very intricate die. It's got lots of little pieces that are going to want to come out, lots of lines, very thin lines. That is a big difference than, let's say this die. This die is not so intricate. Look at it, it's a lot of openness, only square rectangles compared to something like this one. And if you are die cutting and you are having troubles with dies that are very intricate, it's probably because you need a precision base plate. This product was meant to go with dies like this, not dies like this. If they're open, you don't need it. But if they are not, if they are intricate, you do. Now, there was 3 different versions. Put that there. There were 3 different versions. The first version is here. Oh, I got something on it. Started here. Very first version they came out with. And they told you how to use it. And I told you how to use it. And there is nothing wrong with this precision base plate, except every now and then you'd be in a climate that had high humidity and it would get little rust spots all over it. And you'd have to take pledge and wipe it off. And people did not like those little rust spots, even though the precision base plate worked great. No problem with it. So us in California here, who we have no humidity at all, they never got any rust spots anywhere on it, and it works great. But those of you perhaps in, Georgia, who have high humidity, you may have found that you got little rust spots. And then you just took pledge furniture polish and wiped it off and they came right off. But Ellison said, no, let's see if we can make it better. So this was the first version. If you have this, it works fine, unless you don't like the rust. Second version is this one here. They said, okay, we're gonna coat this top piece here with a black matte, non-rusting type of finish. And they did. And they gave you the directions, and it worked great. But it got all of these little cuts in it, which is what your clear plates are eventually going to look like. All of these little cuts in it. And what are those little cuts? Why are they white? Because it's the paper. Just little microscopic pieces of paper gone in there. And so they brought out this version, worked fabulous, but then people weren't crazy about the little cuts. So what did we tell you to do? Well, you can take a baby wipe and get in there and wipe it all out, and it disappears. But Ellison said, even though this one works every bit as good as this one, they said, let's try one more time and see if we can improve upon what we've already done. And that is where the third version came out. This is the chrome base plate. And because it is chrome, the chrome has a hardness that is higher than the metal that the dies are made out of. So when you think of hardness, think of a diamond. A diamond has the hardness of a 10. Nothing can cut into a diamond. A diamond can cut everything else. A sapphire has a hardness of a 9. So a diamond could scratch a sapphire, but a sapphire couldn't scratch a diamond. Well, that's very similar in the way that a die is made. The metal that's used to make the dies doesn't have the same hardness as the chrome. So when you put it against it and you cut into it, it never leaves a mark because it's not hard enough to cut into. So they made a chrome precision base plate. Gave you all the instructions on how to use it. So you may have the chrome. You may have version 2 with the black on top, a matte black. You may have version 1 that has kind of an oxidized look to it. All three work. Do you have to have the chrome one? Only if you really want it, if you already have one of these. If you need it, sure. If you absolutely have to have it, go for it. If you don't have any of them, well, the good news is this is the one you're going to get, is the chrome, because it's the only one they sell now. So I just want you to be aware that I know it's bright and it's shiny and you're like, ooh, but think about your hard-earned dollars. Is this where you want to put them, where you already have this? Or would you rather have more dies or more stamps? I don't want you to just buy something for the sake of buying it. Gosh, I sound like my parents. I want you to need it or really want it. And if your budget affords you to have, and you have all three of them, bless your pea-picking heart. But if your budget doesn't and you already have this one, stick with it. You're okay. It will work. Now, when do you use or with what machines do you use a precision base plate? Well, you absolutely can use them with the standard Big Shot machine. It's meant for the standard Big Shot machine. You're good to go. Wahoo kachoo. Yes, done. It's meant to go with, oh, it's heavy. Eee! It's meant to go with the Express machine. Can you use that in there? Yes, absolutely. No problem. Look, I put it all around my shirt. Express machine, precision base plate, happy day. This machine and the standard Big Shot machine have a different type of pressure on the roller underneath. And you can feel the roller. You can feel it. Can you hear it? I'm going to take this machine out and move it. So, precision base plate, Express machine, yes, it's a separate purchase. Standard Big Shot machine, yes, it's a separate purchase. But these two machines have a different pressure than the other two machines I had. And see, now I'm moving the roller and you can see the handle because there's a roller under here like a rolling pin, and it's that pressure that's going to allow you to make the cut. Do you need a precision base plate for almost any one of my dies? Yes, you do. I get very intricate. In fact, I used to have Sizzix manufacture my dies for me. Wait a minute. I used to have Sizzix manufacture my dies for me for the first, I don't know, year or two. They were the manufacturer for Simply Defined. And I would test their patience like no tomorrow because I wanted my dies intricate and I wasn't willing to give up. And they're like, no, no, no. And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. I sometimes think that I might have helped with the decision on coming out with a precision base plate. Because at that time, Sizzix dies were not as intricate as they are now. I'd also like to think that I took a little credit in helping moving them along into making more intricate dies. But man, they would see my designs and they'd be like, I'm like, we can do this. Okay, so precision base plate with the standard Big Shot machine, with the Express machine. Do you use a precision base plate with a fold-away machine? No. Why? It's manufactured differently. The roller in this machine has a different sweet spot. It has a different amount of pressure. This machine has more pressure when you send something through than the Big Shot or the Big Shot Express. I don't want to say it's more pressure, it's a different type of a pressure because obviously it's much thinner. Same with the Big Shot Plus. Do not use a precision base plate with a fold-away machine or a Big Shot Plus machine. You shouldn't need it. I'm going to tilt on down. You shouldn't need it. You should be fine. So if you're buying either one of those machines, don't add a precision base plate into your cart. You won't need it. You'll be very, very content with the amount of cutting you get with these machines not needing it. A standard Big Shot machine, a precision base plate, absolutely. Stacy, I've got my handle going here. I've got my handle going there. I've got this folding up. I'm just a hot mess. I should have taken this off. There we go. Okay, so no precision base plate with this machine or the Plus machine, which is the big 9-inch machine. No, you don't need it. Okay? But a precision base plate is a very important tool if you are using a standard Big Shot machine and you're doing intricate dies. What else do I have for you? Magnetic platform. This is a want, not a need. It does the exact same thing that the two of these together do. This, two of them together, equals this. Why do I want it? Well, because it also does this. So if you're running your die through and you have a specific piece of paper and you want to cut a specific part of that paper, this is going to let you, This is going to let you line your die up exactly where you want it, and it won't move. It won't slide around. If I'm using it on just the platforms that you get with the machine, and I do that, well, big difference. Do you need to have this? No. Could I put this down and take some washi tape or painter's tape or whatever makes your heart happy? Zoom down just a little bit. Whatever makes your, and tilt down just a little bit. Whatever makes your heart happy to make this work? Sure, absolutely. I could just take some washi tape and tape my die into place and run it through. I could take a Post-it note. That's why I'm saying this is more of a want than a need. So now my die is going to stay in place. However, if I'm doing a stamp and die, let's say I've stamped something and now want to die cut it, Is this nice to have? I will not lie, it is. This is a really nice little tool to have. You need to make the decision when and why you need it. I want to say that it's $39.99, and of course it'll be on sale with the warehouse sale without question. Okay, magnetic platform, precision base plate. These are the two tools that you'll use most often. Can you put a precision platform on top? Can you put a precision platform on top of a magnetic platform? Sure. There you go. But you lose all the magnetic properties of it. Sure, you can do that. Do I do it? Yes. Have I done it before? Absolutely. In a pinch, and I'm running around and I just grab my magnetic platform, put my precision and put my plate on top and send it on through? Sure. Does Sizzix recommend it? No. What could happen if you do that? Well, theoretically, you could break. There are little magnets in here. If I can get a glare on here, there's you can see little tiny like dots. Those are where the magnets are. By adding the precision base plate to the magnetic platform and sending it through, the pressure is so much that you could break your magnets. I've not done it. It is possible. I am told it is possible, so I am telling you it is possible. It is at your own discretion and risk if you decide to throw your precision base plate on top of your magnetic platform, as opposed to using the platforms that come with the machine, where there is no issue at all. Okay, so those are the tools that get used most often. Now, let's talk about actual die cutting, because we're only about an hour into this. But you need to know what we're working with before we work with it, right? There are lots of different dies on the market, and I think we're gonna go with like Sizzlits, and we'll work from Sizzlits to Bigs to embossing folders. Yeah, we're just gonna get going. All right, so in the beginning, there were dies called Sizzlits. I have another one over there. There were dies called Sizzlits. This is a Sizzlit. This is what Sizzix made all the time. And this die happens to make the two little snowflakes. I have another Sizzlit over here. So you can see that there's different sizes. And gosh, this Sizzlit makes your little candy cane. These were the dies that were revolutionary. They do not have so much of a blade in them. They have a piece of almost like injection foam over the top of them, and they are meant to cut basically a single sheet of cardstock at a time. Now, if you have these dies, do they still work today? You bet they do. Does Sizzix still make these dies? No, not so much. I've had Sizzlits for 15 years and they still work great. I will tell you, one tip and trick to make your Sizzlits last longer is packing tape. Packing tape, yes, packing tape. This is packing tape from our shipping room. I'm going to take a piece off. And I'm going to put sticky side down right against my Sizzlit and press it down. I'm going to do that on my little candy cane too. Why am I putting packing tape on my die? Well, the little injection foam, if you use this die again and again and again, the foam is going to get compressed down because you're putting it in a machine that compresses things. That's the whole point of this machine, is to put enough pressure so that when the die hits this roller, it cuts. So if you're using these again and again and again, that foam is going to get compressed down, and what happens is that paper is going to get stuck in those little ridges. But if you use a piece of packing tape, It helps that foam from being compressed, and it helps release out that paper. Now you really do have to use these again and again and again. Like I'd probably have to cut hundreds of these little snowflakes to have that problem. But I'm gonna put both of these here, and I'm going to send them through. And I'm going to cut that packing tape into the die so that packing tape then has the shape of that little die cut. Ready? I'm going to turn this around, and hopefully we don't have my camera going bzzz. All right, let's send it on through. Oh, I'm sending it backwards. Oh, can't do it. Do you see that? This is a no can do. Can you see me trying so hard to push it? No, the machine says, sorry, Stacy, no way, no way. Why? Because I still have the platform for the wafer dies on top. I need to take that off and use it for the Sizzlits. And there it is. It tells you right there. Now, let's put it back together. And I'm always going to sandwich something. So I've got my clear plate down, and I'll talk about a do not cut plate in just a minute. Clear plate, my dies face up, another clear plate, and this is the maiden voyage for these clear plates. So this top one is now going to get cut into. So I'm going to send it on through. No paper. I'm just trying to make sure that that packing tape stays where it's supposed to. And just like that, the maiden voyage is over. There you can see the cuts that the die, and that is supposed to happen. Don't worry. Now my packing tape is firmly on there, and now you can see the design, right? Now you can see what it is you're cutting. So let's wheel it on back, and now I'm going to talk about a do not cut plate. Your machine comes with 2 clear plates, which is awesome. But if I were recommending anything, I would get another set of plates. Something in a, they've got glitter plates. This is a silver glitter. They've got gold glitter plates. They've got kind of a tealy plate. They've got a blueberry colored plate, and you get 2 plates in each one. And for the sake of today, let's just play with the blueberry because it will be easy for you to see. I'm going to open these up. I get 2 plates. Zoop. I only need to use one of them. So I'm going to put one of these plates away, and I'm going to put this plate away that I didn't cut into, and I'm going to save these for a rainy day. So when this plate gets so warped and so cut into, I can go and get this one, and I've got another one ready to go. So for now, I'm just going to put these 2 away. And I'm going to use this blue one as my do not cut plate. Now a do not cut plate's kind of a specialty to me. Not everybody uses a do not cut plate. Not everybody talks about a do not cut plate, but I do. Because eventually over time, your plates are going to get warped. And if you're cutting into both of them, if you're just using these haphazardly, and sometimes you've got this one on the bottom and it's got cuts, and sometimes you cut into this one, with time your plates will slowly start to get a little warped, and you will be having to kind of wedge them underneath so you can cut. But if you keep one plate clean and as free of cuts as possible, it always stays flat, and it gives you that nice smooth glide through your machine without being warped. Now, do you cut it if you accidentally cut into it? Is it the end of the world? No, it's okay. Really, it is. But you want to keep it as free of cuts as possible, which is why I say use a different color. Because then you know, oh, the blue, don't cut into the blue. If I'm cutting into the blue, stop, whoa. And that will keep this plate so that my platform slides smooth as silk. Now, I'm going to bring my die back over and grab a piece of paper. Is that big enough? Sure it is. So I've got my one base plate with no shim on it. I've got my do not cut plate. I've got my Sizzlit die, which is what this is. No longer made, but work like magic, and we have them in the warehouse sale, a few of them at least. My paper with the side that I want to see on my card or my project, that side goes against the die. Against the die. So if this is the textured side. If that's what I want to see on my finished product, that's what I'm going to put against. And then my cut plate. Because that die is facing upwards, it's going to cut into my cut plate, which is perfect, exactly what I want. And I'm going to roll it on through. Now, Sizzlits are meant to be done with just a single piece of paper. Single piece of paper. And they pop on out, and look at 1 hour into it, and we've got our first die cut, folks. I have now die cut my little snowflakes. And it was just that simple. Absolutely that simple. I could take another color. Gotta get that. There we go. Be free, my paper. My express machine is on it. Big enough? Big enough. So again, my platform, my do not cut plate, my die faced up, my paper, my cut plate, and now you can see it's getting more and more cuts. And roll. If it was too thick, it wouldn't take it. And then I could marry those with that and start making cute little embellishments. If it was too thin, it also wouldn't take it. Let's grab, I'll just keep using pink, but so let's take out the do not cut plate. And let's put our die right down on our base plate. And let's put our paper right on top and our cut plate and think we're going to send it on through. Look at that. Won't work. You have to have the right sandwich. So that's why I say you only have so many options. You saw that I tried to put this die through with the extra shim and my do not cut plate and my die and my paper and it went as far as the die. And at that point, it will not let you move it. This is going to be the same no matter if you have the Big Shot Plus, the Express. The Express is going to go zzz, and then it's going to stop. And you're going to push that button and you're going to reverse it out because it's too thick. The machine knows it's too thick, so it won't take it any further. The fold away, same thing. It's only going to let you go so far before it goes, no can do, sorry. Try again. So you back out and you're like, well, what did I do wrong? Let me take this one out and see if that's any better. And put it back together again, and away we go. So here we've got a Sizzlit. Old as the hills. They used to do lots of fonts in this, in Sizzlits. Your little candy cane, which then you can color in. Super easy, super cute, basic die cutting. All right, so let me put those off to the side, and let's move on. Then they came out with something called, where am I going to put those? All right, how about there? Then they came out with something called an embosslet. Again, as old as the hills. Do we have them still? Sure, they still have a few of them around, and we're selling them dirt cheap. But how to use it? It kind of looks like a Sizzlit, sort of, but where's the foamy stuff on the other side? And when you open it, well, it opens, and it's metal on the inside. What do these do? These cut and emboss at the same time. That's what they were meant to do. They were not inexpensive. I want to tell you, I think this die originally retailed for $10.99. Ouch. You really gotta love a heart with wings to pay that much for it. I guarantee you, we do not have it anywhere near $10.99 right now in the warehouse sale. No. But how do you use these? Well, same thing. Go back. Ha, look at that. It's right there. This is the platform you're going to use. Regardless, again, if it's the express machine, you'll have no shims on it. If it's the fold away machine, you'll have no shims on it. If it's the plus machine, well, the plus machine has an extra shim. But I don't think, oh, you may have to use the one shim for the plus machine. The one shim has one extra shim. How do these work? You're going to take your paper, and this time I'm going to grab a piece of double-sided paper, and I'm going to cut a piece off the back. So, double-sided paper. Why is double-sided paper different than other paper? Because it's white in the center. White in the center. Your cardstock that I've been using, if I cut it, it's the same color all the way through. This is called solid core. This is called white core paper, and I have a paper that's color core. Very hard to get. Coordinations is basically out of business, so hard to get. Now, I'm going to take and please put this side down. Okay, we'll put that side down. And it says, please put this side down. So I've got my do not cut plate. Actually, maybe I'm going to do it this way. No, I'm going to do it this way. Do not cut plate, my embosslet, paper sandwiched in between. It's kind of like an embossing folder, but not, because it's going to cut and emboss at the same time. And I'm going to send it on through. Little creaks and cracks are okay. Nothing to worry about. Let's see what I've got. So you're going to run this through the same way on the other machines. Look at how cute. But can you do more with it? Can you, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there is an embossing. The little hearts embossed. What can we do with this? We can take a sand-it gadget or sandpaper and hit the top of it. And where that embossing is, the sandpaper is going to take that paper off and it's going to expose to white, making that embossing all of a sudden become way more visible. So any double-sided paper that you own is going to let you do this, because double-sided pattern paper is printed. Now can you see that? So let me run it through one more time. Almost use the same sheet of paper, yeah? Sure, why not? Let me run it through one more time. Bring my machine back over. Use my base plate with no additional shim, my do not cut plate so that everything stays nice and flat, then my cut plate, and send it on through. Oh, it says, please place this side down. Okay. Since you asked nicely. And let's see what we got. This time I did the red side. So that's what it looks like when it's got the little embossing. I'm going to put these with that one. I'm going to slide this on over, and I'm going to give a sand. Take a sanding gadget. And and you'll be able to see that embossing come up. All of a sudden, it looks like a little heart with wings. Now you can see the heart with the wings. That's what an embosslet does. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about steel rule dies. Steel rule dies. This is a steel rule die. It is way different than this. Totally different than this. And it's way different than these. Look at how thin this is. Look at how thin this is. Look at how thin this is. And this is the thinnest of them all. But then you've got this chunky dude right here, right? What do these dies do? Well, first off, I think you're going to notice that the patterns on these dies are much simpler. They are not nearly as intricate. This one is a Christmas tree. They are not nearly as intricate as perhaps a wafer die or a chemically etched die. You would never be able to do this die in a steel rule die. Why? Because this is done with chemicals and it's etched into the metal. This is done by hand. There's an actual blade in here. There's a little Christmas tree in there, and I can see the outline of it, and there's a blade in there. And that blade is sharp. But that blade allows you to cut more than one piece of cardstock. In fact, a steel rule die will cut fabric, flashing, aluminum, leather, several pieces of cardstock, cork, vinyl. What do you want to cut? If you want to cut something that's thicker, chipboard, you need a steel rule die where it has an actual blade in there. And that is why this cushioning is so firm, because you don't want to step on it with all of your weight. You'd have a nice little Christmas tree perhaps on your foot. Now, these dies are again used differently. You're going to use it in the exact same manner, regardless if you have the Big Shot, the Fold Away, the Express, or the Plus. And remember, I told you, there's really only 3 options you have when you're using a Big Shot machine. You can use it here with just the multi-purpose or the base plate and your 2 cutting pads. You can use it with the shim. That's going to allow you to do your wafer dies. Or you're not going to use this at all. Do you see how thick this is? Do you see how thick this is? They're the same. This doesn't need any extra height to reach the roller in your Big Shot machine. It just doesn't. So you can put that platform away and you can grab your paper. And take your do not cut plate straight to your machine. Again, doesn't matter. Fold away, Plus, Express, Standard, same thing. Your cut plate or your do not cut plate goes to the bottom. Then your die. Then your paper on your die. And then send it on through. Little creaks and cracks are okay. It's rolling through easy peasy. It's kind of like butter. And the next thing you know, I have my Christmas tree and my star. But what if I want to cut through more than one sheet of paper? Okay, let's give it a whirl. Let's take 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try 5. Let's see what happens if I try to cut 5 sheets. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Could be too much. Put all my paper down at once. Send it on through. It's going to be a tighter roll. It's going to be a little bit harder to turn because you're asking it to cut through all of that paper. Okay. Now, you may, to be on the safe side, want to just reverse it and roll it back. Let's see what we've got. Well, we've got all 5. This would be not possible. Not possible with a Sizzlit die or a wafer die. There is no way you would ever be able to cut all of these sheets at once. Just not possible. Like, where's all my colors? There they are. One roll. These kind of look like Tim Holtz's bottle brushes and all the funky colors. One roll will make your heart happy. That can only be done with a die that is a steel rule die. It is thick. And that's why Tim Holtz makes a lot of his dies in steel rule, because he likes to do things that are more dimensional. He likes to cut thicker things, and you can't do that with a wafer die, but you can with this one. And all you need is your your do not cut pad and your cut plate. That's all, nothing extra. So I'm gonna put these to the side and I'm gonna say, but what if, can I grab some of this? Let's see. Let's grab some Sizzix opulent paper and see what I can do. Let's grab some of that. All right, so I've got a couple sheets of Sizzix opulent paper that we play with. I'm gonna try 4 sheets. I don't know, it's awful thick paper. I'm gonna cut it down to size. So I've got a couple sheets of glitter paper, a couple sheets of mirror paper, and it's thick. So 2 sheets of glitter, 2 sheets of mirror. Put the side that I want to see, the pretty side, against my die. Bring over my do not cut, go here, here, and then we roll it through. A little bit harder to get it through because you're asking it to cut an awful lot. If you want to be careful and you just want to be sure, you can roll it back to make sure it's either going to cut or it's not. It's pretty simple. Slide this on over and I'm going to throw all of that away so I don't have such a mess. So you can see how it would do leather and fabric and material. I've got my winter Christmas trees started in 1 roll. Steel rule dies. This is what they are meant to do. Cut heavy objects. You won't get the beautiful detail, but you will get really great shapes that will do a lot for you. Now, one other thing with a steel rule die, and you can do it with a wafer die too, sometimes I need a longer sheet. So let's just grab another sheet of that. And am I gonna fit? Is it gonna fit? I think so. Okay. So I'm taking a piece of paper and I'm folding it in half. And I don't need it quite as wide. So that's what I've done. Now I'm going to take my die. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's a tip on that Christmas tree right up here. There's a tip on that Christmas tree right up there. And I've got my score line on my silver paper right there. I'm going to hold that paper below the top of that Christmas tree. I'm not going to cover the whole thing up. If I cover the whole thing up, it's going to cut me one of these. I want to hold that score line right below, a little bit below that line. And then I'm going to cut it. And it doesn't matter what die you use. I could hold it off to the side. If I have my score line, I could hold it off to the side. It just depends upon what kind of card you want to make. So I'm going to take out my little white piece of glitter and I'm going to bring over my do not cut and my cut plate, and I'm going to send it on through. Two pieces of paper should be easy peasy. Pop it on out. And now I've made a card. Take your cute little, can I get one out? Take your cute little topper. Put it right on it. And nobody ever has to know. And now you've made a darling little card. You can do this with many, many of your dies. Your circles, your squares, absolutely you can make your own card. All right, we have to move on. Steel rule dies, really nice. Come in a couple different sizes. So there's a smaller side that does little tags. I've got a Christmas present. You could hold the paper. You could hold the paper here and not cover the whole thing, and now your card would open that way. You have options. Steel rule dies. All right, let's move along to, let's do this Sizzlet because it's right here and we'll do it. This is a Sizzlet die as well. It's a long Sizzlet die. To be able to do this die, you must have an extended platform. If you do not have this platform, you cannot do this die. Not only do you have to have this platform, you have to have the plates that are long too. So if you are looking at the warehouse sale and you see this die for $1.99 or 99 cents, please know to make it work, you've got to have the longer platform and the longer plates, or you have to be willing, knowing that you're only going to cut a portion of it. You're only going to be able to cut as far as you can go on your platform. So if you want to do borders and you're okay with it, you're doing cards and you're okay with it just being this much, you're golden for $1.99 wahoo kachoo. And I would put the packing tape on it like I did before and the paper, and I would let it rip. I would let it go through. But if you want to be able to do the entire die, you must have this. It is sold separately, as are the long plates. It's kind of important. Okay, so I want to show you that just in case you see them. It's no different than the Sizzlits we were doing earlier. It's just longer, but you have to have the right platforms to make it work. All right, let's do some wafer dies. Wafer dies are what's known in the industry. It's what everybody's doing. It's almost all the dies now manufactured are considered wafer dies. And there are different wafer dies. So this is more like a framelit. So it's more of a frame die, more of an open die. This one here is very much an open die. Nothing in the center. And this is going to cut this piece out beautifully. This die here is far more like my dies. This is, oh, I should not throw that away, huh? Oh, no, I didn't. Good. Whew. This is a cupcake circle so that you can put it around your cupcakes. But look at how intricate that is. Even the words that come with this set are frilly and scripty and intricate. These you would want to have a precision base plate for. So let's play with these for just a little bit. Okay, first things first, let's just cut a basics wafer die. I have got my platform. I am going to need my shim because this is wafer thin and it needs this extra shim to have enough height to reach that roller in there. Now I'm going to reverse things just a little bit. I'm going to put my cut plate down first, and then I will do my paper. Let's do this one. I'll do my paper, and then I'll do my die. And that way I can see what it is I'm cutting. I want to be specific about where I'm going. I could use my magnetic platform if I wanted to. I could take this and put it right on my magnetic platform and it would cut. And I'm going to put my do not cut plate on top. My do not cut plate on top, because again, I want to keep one plate smooth and silky and easy. It glides through super easy, and I'm going to go. Oh, creaks and cracks are okay. I know it sounds terrible, but don't worry. Just keep rolling. Just like Dory said, just keep swimming. Now, this is a pretty simple die. It should cut through this paper pretty easy. Bam. All my little windows are going to come out, which I'm going to use later. I'm not throwing those away. They're perfect little squares. Then I get into there's a little hole. There's a couple little holes that you just take your little tweezers and then you pull out your die. Now don't be afraid, it's only paper. And paper is hardier than you give it credit for. I'm not being ginger around it. Of course, I just tore mine. See, that'll show you, but that's okay, I'm gonna go. Zoop. And zoop. Sound effects required. Okay, I have cut my frame. Oh no, I tore it. That's okay. No big deal. When you glue it down, you're just gonna line that bad boy right on up and put it right on your paper. No problem. Look at how pretty that frame is. But you're saying, how am I gonna glue that down? Really? Oh, you're just gonna use some sticky dots. Sticky dots, these are mine. I would not buy these during the warehouse sale. It'll take you months and months and months to get them. I'm going to take 2 pieces of washi tape. This is not my idea. I wished it were. And I'm going to put 1 piece there and 1 piece on this side. And it's going to help separate my sticky dots. Sticky dots are just micro dots. There's thousands, hundreds of thousands of dies on little dots on this side, and they're adhesive. They're sticky right now. So all I have to do is open it up, put my die cut down, close it up. Do not buy sticky dots during the warehouse sale unless you're okay with it taking however long it takes, because it ships when it ships. I'll tell you, after the 31st, come back and buy your sticky dots because you'll love them. Give a good press. Anywhere you can, the die cut is not. So all of these empty spaces in the square, those sticky dots are going to remain. So you're going to keep this liner on it so you can use those dots at a later date. And bam. Nobody ever had to know that I tore that die. It's only paper. Paper's fixable. Look at that. So this is a framelit type die. That is a similar type die to what they call a thinlit. I don't know why they have all these names for them. They're just chemically etched dies. They're wafer dies. Call them that. I think the reason they call them framelits versus thinlits is because framelits tend to be more open and thinlits tend to go with stamps. I have no idea, but let's open this one. Now, what is unique about Sizzix dies, and they're chemically etched dies, they're wafer dies like that, is that they are a true see what you cut, cut what you see. The cutting blade on this die is right on the very, very edge. Maybe you've seen people die cut and it leaves just a little white edge after they've stamped and they die cut and it leaves this little white edge. Ellison puts their blade right on the very, very edge to get you the closest you can to a stamp. So I'm going to put this down and I'm going to put that down and ooh, I did not bring a stamping block with me, but we're just gonna make do. You know how we're gonna make do? Haha. Stamping block. I don't even think I have a gush pad over here, but I'm gonna use some Hero Arts ink and I'm gonna stamp. So I've got my stamp right on. You're supposed to use a clear block, but you know what? My cutting plate is perfect right now. It's what I've got. It works. It's not going to cause any issues, and I'm happy girl. Ink up my stamp. Bring over my paper, and 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. Good. Wahoo ka-choo for me. Put my stamp back because a stamp you use forever. It's a tool. It never goes bad. And look at that. And that says love. Well, I'm sure it says love. All right. Now I've got the die that matches with it. And remember I told you, gosh, I'm never going to see what I was doing. Remember I told you that having that magnetic platform sure is nice if you can afford it? This is where it sure is nice if you can afford it. Because I can take my clear plate, my cut plate that I've been cutting into, and you can see that, put it down, put my stamp down, and then line my die up right around it so it just cuts perfect. I think I'm a little off, but that's okay. We're going to go for it. So it's see what you cut. There's no guessing. What you see is what you cut. And because it's on a magnetic platform, it doesn't move. Nice, right? Bring my machine back over, and again, magnetic platform is going to work with your Express, with your Plus, with your fold away. You can use this with all of the machines. Really handy. I'm going to take my platforms that the machine came with out. I'm going to put this in. Put on my do not cut plate. Oh, and I moved it. Okay, I'm just going to go. It is what it is. It's only paper, but I so want it to be perfect. But it's only paper, so I'm just going to let it be. And we're just going to roll. And because it is an open die, it doesn't need a precision base plate at all. Not at all. Bam! Easy peasy mac and cheesy. So you've got framelit dies, thinlit dies. This is a thinlit die. It's got lots of detail to it. These would be a thinlit, what they call a thinlit die. I'm not sure I fully understand the difference. I just know that they all work the same. So really, it doesn't matter. And these are the same as Simply Defined. These are the same as Spellbinders. These are the same as Memory Box. These are almost penny black. What die? Almost any die that's this thin, that's a wafer die, they're all going to work the same. But if you're doing stamping and die cutting, it really is nice if you have the stamp, if you got the die to go with the stamp. Those are very, very, very handy. Really handy. So that cut, I cut a little frame for you. That was easy peasy. I cut the heart and stamped with it. That was easy peasy. Now let's do one that's a little more difficult. And let's take the, okay, I'm gonna chance fate. We'll do the, and hope that it's easy peasy to get out. This is going to require a precision base plate. If you are using a standard Sizzix Big Shot machine or the Big Shot Express. If you're using a fold away or a plus, you will not need to use this. I am not going to use it on my magnetic platform. What's going on? I don't know, my camera just did something. Hold on, let me tilt up. Hello? No, maybe it didn't. I don't know. Weird, huh? Okay, so I'm not going to use my magnetic platform. I am going to bring back the plates that come with the machine, the shim and the platform that comes with the machine. I am going to use this in lieu of a bottom plate. A clear plate or a do not cut plate, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to use this in lieu of that. I'm going to put this right on there. Maybe I'll trim it down just a little bit. Put that right on there. Put my do not cut plate on there. Oh, but we're using a precision base plate. That base plate is going to give so much pressure that it's going to leave a little mark, and it's going to leave like an indent. I'm going to do it and show you. My recommendation is that you use a cut plate because it's already marked up. But let's see if I can make it indent. Because of the pressure that it's going to apply to this die, it may leave a little indent in your beautifully nice, happy, do not cut plate. Is it the end of the world? No, we're crafters, you'll be fine. And because it's so intricate, I may just want to do a rotate. I already pulled it up. So let's see if it cut the first time through. Oh, okay. Does that make your heart happy? Do you have dies that you wish did this? If they're this intricate and you're not using a precision base plate, and you're using a Sizzix branded machine, a Big Shot or an Express. Look at how cute is that, right? Look at the mess I made, right? Now, to do this in the fold away, you don't need that precision base plate. To do that in the plus, you don't need that precision base plate. It's gonna cut just fine. But with a standard machine or the Express, you're going to want this. And you can see it didn't leave any mark in my precision base plate. And yes, it left just a slight embossing. Can you see it? A slight embossing. So if you don't want anything to make your do not cut plate not look like a do not cut plate, just use your cut plate instead. So let's do it one more time. Send this back on through. I've got my base plate, my shim, my precision base plate, my paper that I'm going to cut down a little bit. My die, and this time I'm just going to use my cut plate because I don't care if that gets a little embossed. And I'm going to send it on through. Roll, 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 roll. We'll see if it needs to, we'll see if it cut through the first time. Well, let's move this out of the way. I already made a mess on Mr. SMS's floor. There's little papers everywhere. Let's get all of this out. Okay. Is that not a happy moment? If you're a die cutter and that's what it comes out to be, you're like, oh, the sun is shining on you and the rainbows have come out, and look at how easy. And then you just close it up and you've made the cutest little cupcake holders. That is a chemically etched die, a wafer die. It is super thin, nowhere near as thick as a steel rule die. Okay, let's move on. I'm going to bring over another chemically etched die. This time I'm going to bring one of mine, mainly because I couldn't find a Sizzix one that would work. So I'm bringing over one of my dies. Same thing, chemically etched, highly detailed, totally needs the precision base plate. And I'm going to grab a piece of paper. Let's see, what colors do I have? Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, I'm going to grab a piece of paper. Remember how I told you this is a solid core paper, basic cardstock, and any paper that is printed on both sides is a white core cardstock. Now I'm going to play with a color core cardstock. So what's in the middle of this paper is this color here. So if I tear it, it's going to tear to that color. I'm going to cut me off a piece, and I'm going to cut my die. So, paper down, die down, cut plate. If you're using a fold away or a plus, you do not need the precision base plate. If you're using an Express or a standard Big Shot, you do. And I'm going to send it on through. Oh, little creaks and cracks are okay. I'm going to take a look and I'm going to say, did it cut all the way through? Can I see all the cuts? And I can. So I'm going to pull it out. And all my little pieces are going to fall out, except for the ones in the middle. Okay, those look like just blobs. What are they, Stacy? Well, they're roses, and they're meant to be done as an embossing feature. An embossing feature, what's that? Well, that's where another tool comes into play that will come in your bundle. And it was named, well, I named it. I renamed it, I suppose I should say. Be helpful if I could figure out how to get my die back in together. Nope. Oh, there we go. It shouldn't be that complicated, right? So the next tool I'm going to play with is a squishy and a knock-knock, and they are right here. Okay, it's not really called a squishy. It's called a silicone pad. Silicone rubber mat. But when I open it, you will understand why I call it a squishy. See? It's squishy. Then we have a knock-knock pad. Okay, it's really not a knock-knock pad. It's called an impression pad. We sell these two items as a pair because they are meant to go together. They are two peas in a pod. And why do we call it a knock-knock? Now, originally, for years and years and years, Sizzix made these and they both were black. Exact same black. You couldn't tell the difference between them. So for me to help you understand, I would do, okay, squishy and knock-knock. It took them, I want to say, 14 years to finally come to the point where we have come to an agreement that they would make them in different colors. But by that time, squishy and knock-knock already existed. Silicone pad, impression pad, but honestly, the world knows them as a squishy and a knock-knock. What do? They are going to take that beautiful detail of those roses and they're going to force that paper into this die, causing it to emboss. Now, any die that does not, you see all these little ridges? All those little ridges are the cut lines. The die where the die has no ridges, where it's flat and smooth, that's an embossing feature. So any die that you have that has smooth lines, no ridges, it's meant to use as an embossing feature. Oh, did I do it to myself again? This way? Yes. So I'm going to line my die right back up. And we're going to pretend. That I just cut my die out. I sent it through and I'm opening it up and look it all cut out beautifully on my precision base plate. Now, I need to take this die off the precision base plate and I need to take one shim away. Because on here, it shows you a squishy and a knock-knock right there. I'm going to bring my die right down, put it right on there, and this time I'm not going to put my do not cut plate on top. No, I'm going to take my squishy and I'm going to hopefully drop my squishy right on top in the same place it was. Hopefully I don't move my die. Shall we see? If we do, I'll have to recut. And then my knock-knock. The squishy and the knock-knock take the place of your top cutting plate. You won't need this. You can't put this on top and then try and send it on through. It's going to say, no, no, no. It's going to hit that die and say, ooh, of course, unless I didn't put my cut plate down first. Because it's going. Oh, I didn't. Oh, Stacy, I can't cut directly on that. I need to put my clear plate down. Look at that, Stacy. So now let's line this back up. And let's put our knock-knock back on. And then if I had my do not cut plate, now it's not going to go through. So what did I do wrong? I did not put my cut plate down. I did not put a plate down on the bottom, and you always have to sandwich. So I've got my die. Oh, it did move. I've got my die, my squishy, and my knock-knock over the top. And we're just gonna have to see if I can keep it in place. Don't know that I can. Can I lock it back in? Stay. Let's put this right over the top. See, I already cut through it when I went through. And then let's put this one on top. And let's see what happens. Roll, 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 roll. Now, how do you know if you're doing it right? The squishy is going to come out the back end. As that silicone pad, that squishy, is being pushed down into that paper by the knock knock, the squishy is going to get longer and longer and longer, and it's going to grow and grow and grow, and it's starting to come out. Can you see it's actually starting to come out the back end and grow? And look at it, just keeps getting longer and longer. That's how you know you're doing it right. The squishy comes out the back end. But let's see if I double cut. Time will tell. I did double cut. So close yet so far. Not too bad. Okay. Now can you see the detail in the roses? And if I bring my sanding paper over, sanding gadget, where'd you go? Oh, right there. If I bring my sanding gadget over and I hit those roses, that embossing that I just did is going to come up. So the detail you couldn't see before you couldn't see in the roses before, you now can. And I would do it to all of them. Squishy and knock knock is a really important tool to have. It really is. It takes dies that you would not necessarily realize you can emboss, and it gives you that option. And they are so inexpensive. I want to say for the two of them, they're like, I don't know, $10 or something for the two of them. They're really inexpensive, but they really give you an opportunity to do more with. So here's a die. Do I have any? Oh, I've got the little one. Okay, let's just do the little one super fast because I won't need a precision base plate for that. I've got a tiny little sailboat. And let's grab some blue. Ooh, do I have some blue over here? Ooh, I have this blue. Let's grab some blue. And this is going to sand to white. And because it's just a small little die, but it's got a place to do embossing. See that hole right there? Let's bring over my machine. I've got my cut plate down. But what if we put our, yeah, I need my shim. So let's grab my shim because I'm using a wafer die. And let's put our do not cut plate down, and let's put our die down and our paper against it. Let's just cut straight up. Instead of cutting into, I'm going to cut up. And let's put my cut plate. Now this is a simple die. No precision base plate needed at all. Run it through. Should run through fairly easy. One cut. Slide that off. Now all I have to do is get rid of my shim. Put my little squishy and my little knock knock and send it through one more time. I don't need this at all. My squishy and my knock knock have taken its place. This is probably the hardest thing for people to grasp, is how to use a squishy and a knock knock. And as you will see, my squishy is going to start coming out the back end as it's being compressed into that paper. Can you see it growing? It didn't start coming out the back end. You didn't see it at all. But as I'm moving it, it continually gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I would say that this is the thing that most people have trouble with when they're die cutting, how to use a squishy and a knock knock. Move it out of the way. And it's got a tiny little emboss on that sail, and I could just take my sandpaper and gently hit it because it's so small. And kind of give it a little bit of a distressed look. But now you can see where it embossed. Right in there. Super cute. Easy to do. Paper, done. Finished. So, you might be asking, Stacy, why did you layer it the way you did? All right, let me cut another piece of blue and we'll show you why. So I'm going to cut it like we've been cutting it. And this is the same no matter what machine you're using. This isn't an intricate cut, so I can just use my shims. And remember, when I did it, I cut up. So my die is facing up against my paper. I cut up and then put my clear plate on and I sent it through. What if I cut down? What if I put my cut plate here and now had my paper against there and my die so I could see my die? Would it still work? Sure, but let me show you the difference. So I'm going to roll this through really fast. Easy peasy, no problem. Now I need to take off my shim. So I've got to pull all of these together, take off my shim, and then that squishy and the knock knock have to be on top of the die. So I have to turn this over, open it up, and then put my squishy and my knock knock down, and then send it through. But if I had cut it face up to begin with like this, if I had put my die and then my paper and then I sent it through my machine, so my die and my paper and my cut plate, and then I sent it through, then all I have to do is take my shim out, easy peasy mac and cheesy, and take my top plate off. That's it. I don't have to flip anything or rotate anything. Then I can put my squishy on top and my knock knock and send it on through, and my squishy's gonna, you can see there's no squishy out the back end yet. But as I'm rolling it through, that squishy's gonna get longer and longer. You can see it now, and longer as it compresses into that paper, as it's being forced down. And then I'm done. Little piece of sandpaper. Hit it with my sandpaper a little bit to expose that embossing. And now you've got a detail on your die. And that is why my roses are able to be done. because they were meant to be embossed. All right, moving on. I think the last thing we're gonna do is embossing folders. I know we're 2 hours in, but it is what it is. Okay, embossing folders. I'm gonna play with the set first. So embossing folders. Many companies make them. Doris and Spellbinders and Sizzix, and you might have old Cuttlebug or Anna Griffin. Embossing folders. One of the easiest ways to use your die cutting machine, giving you the most bang for your buck. Embossing folders come in all sorts of sizes. This set comes with a Christmas saying and a wreath and a Christmas tree, and then a big one that's gonna do gingerbread men. So how do you use an embossing folder? Again, these are a tool. If you take care of them, they will last you forever. Do they need a precision base plate? Absolutely not. Are they easy to use? They are the easiest thing to use. And they're probably the least expensive of all the tools out there for your die cutting machine. I think we have embossing folders that start at 99 cents. And like I said, if you use it for a lifetime, it'll last you a lifetime. So, folder, paper, put the paper inside. Don't need a squishy, don't need a knock-knock. Why? Because embossing folders already have a male and female side, and when you push them together and you force that embossing, it hits that roller, it's gonna push those paper into those divots and those cavities, and it's going to make an embossing. Do I need a shim? Do I need my shim wherever I put my shim? Holy smokes, artichokes, do I have a mess going on here? Oh, here's my shim. Do I need my shim? No. Does it say anything about an embossing folder on there? It says it about one here. So, and because an embossing folder doesn't cut, it doesn't matter if your do not cut is down, if your do not cut is up, it's not gonna cut either. I will say it's easier if you have your creased end of your embossing folder feeding into your machine. Line it up, send it on through. Embossing folders are an aha moment for people because it is so simple, and it gives you depth, and it gives you texture, and it gives you dimension with literally one roll. Can you see my little snowmen's on there? Or no, they're little gingerbread men. But I used paper that is either white or colored in the center. And pretty much like magic, my little gingerbread dudes are coming to life. Could I do that on standard cardstock? No. It will emboss, yes. And maybe you don't want to sand your background. Maybe you just want an embossing feature on your card or your layout or your mixed media or your altered art. Maybe you need something with some texture. Send it on through. Rolls like butter. And we're good to go. But I can't sand it. This is going to leave a little bit of it's pretty much the same color all the way through. It's not going to give you something like this. So solid core paper is not the same as a color core paper or any of your favorite. This is Bo Bunny Double Dot that I was using. This is a printed paper. White in the center. This would sand beautifully. Embossing folders are quick, they're easy, they're affordable, and you can do so much with them. Not probably the best colors in the world, but do I have some white cardstock here? So what if I took some white cardstock? And again, I am not the best colors in the world here, but we're just gonna go for it. And I take a little bit of my ink and I kind of smoosh some ink on my embossing folder, starting with my lightest color first. Then I come in maybe with a little bit of my purple and I just kind of hit in places. Just kind of give it some hit. Not everywhere. And then maybe I come in with my darkest blue and I throw just a little bit here and a little bit there. Again, not everywhere. And then I put some white paper in there. White paper, close it up, send it on through. Let's see what we get. Every machine is going to tell you what shims you need to use, if you need to use any at all. And because embossing folders don't cut, it doesn't matter if your do not cut plate is on the top or the bottom. And let's send it on through. And let's see what we've got. So maybe you don't want to sand, maybe that's not your thing, but you want to add color to your embossing folder. Okay, so now you've added some color to your embossing folder, but do you like that side? Or do you like that side? When you ink both sides, you have options. You can choose to do this one where my little gingerbread guys stayed white and my background is colored, or you could turn it over and now all my little gingerbread dudes are colored and the background is white. What makes your heart happy? Think about all the things, your own backgrounds that you can make. And they've got depth and dimension and texture from an embossing folder that might have cost you 99 cents. And you can use it again and again and again and again. Embossing folders are just a little bit of heaven. And there's different types of embossing folders. This is a cut and emboss folder. What does a cut and emboss folder do? Just what it says it's gonna do. Let's do this one. And let's go ahead and let's ink it. So again, not the best colors, but I want to start with my lightest color. You always start with your lightest color first. And let's just get some ink all the way around. It's roses, so I'm not sure that blue's the best, but it's what I've got here. And let's touch it with a little bit of purple. Let's touch it with a little bit of purple. And then last but not least, let's throw in some darker blue. Have no idea what we're gonna get. I feel like I need a little more purple. Okay, go with it, right? It's only white paper. Can you see? It's got a die built into it. That die is the same as this die or the die we cut the stamp with or my little sailboat, and it is attached to the embossing folder. Let's throw this in there. Close it up. Bring my machine back over and roll it through. I don't know if I used enough ink. You'll get the gist. And send it on through. Now it's going to emboss and it's going to cut that paper. See? And then we can trim it down. This is a cut and emboss folder. How very cool is that? Or do you like this side better? It's up to you. If you ink both sides of an embossing folder, you get both options. Or some people will put two different pieces of paper in there so that they get the instead of having it on both sides, they'll have two pieces of paper so they can get both impressions out and they don't have to choose. I like the element of surprise. This is a cut and emboss folder. It's very cool. Technology took a long time to get there to do this properly, but it finally got there, and when it did, it is rock star. The last embossing folder I have is a 3D embossing folder. 3D. And it is much thicker than a standard embossing folder and much harder to open. So look at the difference between a standard embossing folder and a three-dimensional embossing folder. Big difference in the thickness. A 3D embossing folder is going to give you a more dimensional look. It's going to have high places and low places, and it's going to give you a much deeper, richer embossing. Can it be colored? Absolutely. You can do exactly the same thing. Can it be sanded? Absolutely. You can do exactly the same thing. Are they easy to use? Yes. Do they cost a little more money? Yes, as does the cut and emboss. This folder and this folder is going to cost more than a typical embossing folder because this has got a cutting element to it and this has got a three-dimensional element to it. Now, this is going to be the first time for both of us. I don't know that I've run a 3D embossing folder through a standard Big Shot with the new platforms. I'm so used to doing it with my platform, or with the old platforms. So, yeah, says it right there, 3D embossing folder. It says no cut plate here. I'm going to put this directly to it. No cut plate at the bottom. And then I'm going to put one cut plate or do not cut plate at the top. So instead of having having it completely sandwiched like we normally would, it's going to be too thick. It's not going to take it. So we're going to take off that bottom platform, bring this on over, and away we go. Oh yeah, like butter. Isn't that fabulous? Doesn't that make your heart happy? Oh my gosh. Makes my heart happy. And I'm gonna send it on over. It is much deeper, much richer. More money, still looks good. And let's sand it. So look at the difference, sanding from not sanding. Big difference, right? Okay, let's ink it. Let me grab another piece of white. We'll just use this one. Let's throw some ink down. Lightest ink first. A little bit darker. And our darkest. And let's see what we get. Paper in. Close it up. Bring our machine on over. Sandwich is going to be the same whether you're using a fold away, a express. The plus you'll need to take a look because it does have that third shim, and I'm going to send it on through. No cutting plate on the bottom, just a cutting plate on the top. Okay, do you like that? Or do you like that? Very cool, right? Embossing folders are the least expensive, most economical, bang for your buck that you use with a die cutting machine, hands down. And you can emboss glitter paper, you can emboss leather, there's lots of things that you can do with it. Absolutely. If it will hold the embossing, go for it. Okay, well, we're almost 2.5 hours in, and I know it's really long, and I have no idea how many of you are still with me, but I'm gonna say, okay, so I told you it would be long, and I told you you might need notes. Some of you are gonna be, why didn't you just chunk it up and just do it in different YouTubes? Well, because I can't. Can't. So we talked about a big shot machine, a fold-away machine, an express machine, a Big Shot Plus machine. We talked about tools. We talked about dies, Sizzlits that are from time gone by, and steel rule dies. You didn't know just how great they are until you realized what they could cut. We talked about different wafer style dies that need a precision base plate, don't need a precision base plate. A plus machine and a fold away, no precision base plate. A Big Shot and a Big Shot Express, yes, for intricate dies, absolutely. We talked about stamp and cut and how having a magnetic platform will just make your heart happy, because when you stamp and then you line that die up to go with that stamp, it is so easy. And how to use a squishy and a knock knock to achieve embossing in dies you had no idea you could do that with. It is an investment, a die cutting machine. It is. And you want one that's going to give you the most options possible. And while I love spell binders, and I know that Geminis are out there, there's lots of fabulous machines out there. This is the one we go to, hands down. You'll see it in my YouTubes for as long as it can be. Not because I love Ellison and Sizzix. Trust me, I've been with them for 16, 17 years. It's been a love-hate relationship through the years. It's because I love their machine, because it does what it says it's going to do, and it does it well, and it gives you the most options possible. Not every machine will do a steel rule die. You can use a Go Press and Foil machine or a glimmer machine through a Big Shot. So it's what I use because I know it will work. And that's not to take anything away from any other die cutting machine out there on the market. They all, at this point, are good machines. They are. But I want options. And I want you to have options. And I hope that you took something away from this class, that, because this is a class that you didn't know before, or that reminded you of, oh yeah, or inspired you to pull out something you haven't played with for a long time, or if you're new to crafting, You can do this. It's only paper. Start small. Start slow. Get an embossing folder, a couple embossing folders, and a couple inexpensive dies, and just play. You're allowed to. Doesn't have to be perfect the first time. And if it's never perfect, was it from your heart? Did you make this for somebody from your heart? I will get cards that will read, and I read every card. And I got one just recently. It said, "Please excuse my handmade card. I know it's not the best." It was perfect because you made it for me. And anybody you give a handmade gift to is going to feel exactly the same way, even if you're looking at it going, "Oh, I wish I could have done better." There is no better when it comes from your heart. So, this is the do's and don'ts of the Big Shot family of die cutting machines. It is me, Stacy. We are 2 hours and 20 minutes in, and thank you if you stayed with me. And if you had to come back in chunks, I get that too. Again, I hope you found this useful and informative and hopefully unbiased, because it is really. I have platinum machines over here from Spellbinders. Absolutely. They are fine machines. I just tend to gravitate back to my Big Shots. It just is what it is. I know, Mr. Big Shot David's like, "Yep." That's because we're the best. He's so modest. But you do have to say something for a company that's been in business for 44 years. You just have to give them kudos for that. So, David, it's not the machines that I love, it's you. You're the reason. Okay, folks, it's past midnight here in sunny California, and I'm going to go down and load this YouTube now. It's way past midnight. So I will see you next time on our next Saturday with Stacy, where it will not be 2 hours and 30 minutes long. Enjoy the warehouse sale. Take advantage of everything you can. And from me to you, thank you. Thank you for everything you do for us. It is so appreciated. Bye, everybody.